Hi guys. In my 20s, I won't lie, I spent money. I spent money like my life depended on it. I recently had a conversation with one of my sister friends about how much we wasted back then. Just spent like aimlessly, that if we took all the money that we spent on random things, we would have bought homes, like homes, not one, two, three. We would have bought homes by now, and we would have probably invested and made crazy returns on our investment. Truth is, we didn't care much about saving during that decade. Now that I am in my 30s, guys, I am a changed woman. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Funke, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 10 things I no longer buy now that I'm in my 30s. Being now in my 30s, I feel like my mindset and my relationship around money has changed. I'm a lot more conscious about my spending. I tend to ask myself, do you need that? Is it actually useful? Will it last? Right? Is it a smart way to spend money? I'm also more conscious about planning for my future, looking at generating wealth. Aside from being conscious about my spending, I find myself planning for the future with focus on building my net worth. Without further ado, these are the 10 things I no longer buy now that I am in my 30s. Number one, I would say alcohol. Like when I was in my 20s, I spent a lot of money going out, buying cocktails. And you know what? Back in the day, London life, it was very expensive to buy drinks, as in some clubs would be charging you. Me and my girls would get bottles on a regular, we'll be out and about. And the truth is, aside from not having the energy to live that kind of lifestyle anymore, I find that I'm just like, wait, this bottle costs what, a few £100s? No, no, no. The truth is, the cost of alcohol is quite high, and that is where a lot of all these establishments make their money, and it's also the quickest way to drain your bank account. So yes, I don't drink alcohol that I used to back in the day anymore, and if I do these days, I don't go out. I just host like a party in my house. I go and buy the liquor from the store, the cheapest, the more affordable liquor, and mix it in my house rather than going outside to actually buy it and spend a lot. So alcohol is something I don't spend money on as much as I used to. Number two, I would say gifts on Christmas, right? Back in the day, I remember I used to always, it's Christmas time, we're buying gifts for everybody, all my friends, everyone's like, oh, are you gonna gift me, gift. Now I'm like, Merry Christmas. That is my gift. And I send a very nice message, right? I don't feel the need to buy Christmas gifts as I get older, to be honest, because my time is the present, right? Yeah, so I don't spend money on Christmas gifts like anymore, really. Number three, extra makeup. When I was in my 20s, whenever any new brand or new shade or new anything came out makeup wise, I was very keen to get it and try it, right? Which basically meant that I had a huge sort of like makeup cosmetic bag that I really didn't use the products in there. Now I only focus on buying one of each item. Like I have, an Urban Decay palette, just one, and I use the colors on there are fine. I don't need to buy any fancy colors. I have one mascara. I have, one eyeliner. I don't like stock up and like overbuy or buy products that I'll probably use once and never use again. So makeup is definitely something that I don't waste as much money on as I used to. And let's be honest, makeup isn't cheap. Like makeup can rank up, really, really quickly. So that's certainly a great way that I've been saving money these days, is not spending too much on extra makeup. Number four, I would say I've stopped spending money on tampons, right? Some of the guys watching these may not understand, but yeah, tampons. I now actually use a menstrual cup, right? Tampons for me, I've always known about tampons. I always use them. Go to the store maybe every cycle, spending 20, 30 pounds on tampons, right? Or maybe 20 pounds or so on tampons. And using a menstrual cup basically lasts you for years. They're reusable, you pay for them once, and that is it. So for me, tampons is something that I actually don't buy anymore, which has saved me a little bit of money. And you know what? Every little bit counts. Number five, travel souvenirs, right? I'm a traveler. You guys know on my channel, I've been to like probably nearly 50 countries now. So I love to travel. And back in the day, you would always buy like, go to the gift shop, get a trinket here, get a fridge magnet, take one of these like photos, pay for all these photos. Like I don't do those things anymore because I found out that all these little items that I actually buy just carry dust back home in the house. I find them in like a hidden box somewhere I've basically dumped everything into that I don't want to get rid of because I paid for them. So actually I don't buy travel souvenirs anymore. My travel souvenir are the photos that I take on the phone that I have. That is my souvenirs these days. Like, are you guys the same? I'd love to know, do you guys still actually buy travel souvenirs? I feel like back in the day it was such a huge thing, but these days it's sort of like died down a little bit more, especially when, we all have phones now. We can capture images and then superimpose them on products later on when we get back home. So let me know. The sixth point I would say on something that I've stopped buying in my 30s, and honestly, I would say I wasted crazy money on in my 20s, is fast fashion. Back in the day when, Primark came out, right? I used to go to Primark every other day, like just buy for the sake of buying. And very quickly, I realized that the quality of these items of clothing are actually not great. Like after 6 months or 9 months, you find out that you have to throw away these clothes because they're looking a bit tattered, a bit worn out. They're not looking that fresh anymore. So I feel like now that I'm in my 30s, I'm much more smarter in terms of prioritizing quality over quantity, right? I'm more prepared to spend that extra amount of money on a nice bag, on nice dresses that I know are going to last, rather than those that are just a quick fad, right? And clothing is, you might think, oh, Primark, H&M, they're cheap, but they're actually expensive in the long run because you have to spend money to replace them regularly, whereby the nice expensive things, items of clothing, they pretty much last you forever, right? If you take care of them quite well. Like that is a huge point in terms of where I actually save a lot of money these days, is not spending money on fast fashion. Number 7, I would say this point, something I stopped spending money on is magazines, right? And I remember in my 20s, I used to get all these like Cosmopolitan magazines, all those UK British magazines that are just like tabloids, like gossip, like essentially over time, and I think this comes with age, you come to realize that a lot of these magazines are actually just marketing tools to sell to you. A lot of them don't really provide you with intellectual information that's going to feed you, right? So I think it's important, not just from a perspective of wasting money on magazines, but also not exposing yourself to content that is not going to fuel you in a positive way, right? So saves money, but also saves your mind. Tabloids, I do not do them at all anymore, right? Most thing I get my tabloid information from social media watching, but for me to spend money to go and get this, this rubbish content, in my opinion, I don't do it anymore. Number 8, I would say things I no longer do. I'll say my nails, right? And I won't say I don't do them at all. I just don't do them as often, right? Typically, I get my nails done when I'm going on holiday. Otherwise, I'm at my house painting my nails myself because let's be honest, like all this self-care, cosmetic care is very, very, over the years, has become very, very expensive. Like doing acrylic nail shellac, it is money, right? And you might think, oh, it's just like £40 here, but £40 every month is a lot of money that you can put aside to invest, to do something better with, and just, buy a £2 nail polish and be painting your nail by yourself if you need to, right? So for me, I don't do my nails as often. I only do when I travel, maybe once or twice a year, rather than the monthly routine I used to have. I think that is such, for me, a smarter way to save money. Number 9, hair. And I'll say hair in two folds. Once, I don't do my hair as often. Like back in the day when I used to do maybe braids regularly, you know, go and do weave, a sewing weave regularly. I don't do that anymore. I buy wigs, but also on the wig front, I stopped buying wigs regularly, right? Because a lot of times you just want a new wig, a new shade of black, but you find out that you probably have 10 wigs. You know, how many do you wear that often, right? So I've limited my wig buying, what's it called, behavior. So I'm not spending that much money on weave anymore. Like I just cornrow my hair by myself underneath, put my wig on top, and once in a while I can pay a stylist to help me style my wig if I'm going for an event. Otherwise, I just do it myself at home if I have the time. So yes, hair care is something that I don't spend money on as much as I used to in the past, right? And I think that's probably the same for a lot of people, right? Because back in the day, I know a lot of, we Africans, we used to go to the hairdressers to get a sewing weave. And, in some places like New York, in the US, it's like getting a sewing weave is like $250, $300, $400, right? For something that might last just like a month or so, when you can buy a wig that can last forever, potentially, right? So for me, hair care has been one of the ones whereby I've been able to save a lot of money and I don't waste money on anymore. Finally, I would say something I no longer spend money on, and I'll say again, caveat as much as before, is going out to eat at restaurants, right? Because going out to eat at restaurants can become a very expensive affair. And also tie this into buying takeout, right? I'm way more conscious of what I eat now. You guys follow me on Instagram, probably know like, Funke is a fit fam. I am fit fam. So I don't like going out to eat at restaurants because I can't control sort of what is being given to me. But when I'm at home, I like to cook my own meals, watch what I'm, fueling myself with. I think it's really important also as one ages and gets older to sort of like just be aware of what you're putting into your body and at the same time saving money, right? So yes, guys, those are my points on the 10 things that I do or that I no longer do in my 30s, right? And things that I've gone on to help me to save money, right? Thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to know, depending on whatever age group you're in right now, what are the things that you no longer do in that age group? Whether it's in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, what are the items that you no longer buy in your age group? I would love to read and engage with your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.